Back here on the Cover 30 podcast, looking at the Georgia Bulldogs, where over at FanDuel Sportsbook, the win total set at 9.5, but we need to have a conversation here because over is minus 179, under is plus 138. I guess the first question, is anybody going under here? Okay. All right. Well, that at least.
There's a spoiler.
Well, because we could all sit out there and be like, yeah, 10-2. I guess the next question is, who could see 11-1? How hard? Okay, Tom. Then let's get this going. What do we like about the Dogs?
I mean, they're one of the most talented teams in the country. That's really what you start from there every single year, and like your floor is going to be at a certain point. Now, I say that, and I do think there are more question marks about this team than we're typically used to in the Kirby Smart era. And I do think that floor is slightly lower maybe than what we're used to in the Kirby Smart era. And personally, like I look at the schedule, I think the context here matters because again, they are very, very talented, but they're also very inexperienced at a lot of places all across the field. So you get Marshall and Austin Peay to start the season. That's good. I would rather not start with Clemson this year where I don't have much experience. Let my guys get their feet wet, get feeling, for playing at home in front of that crowd. But those are really very easy games. So starting like your first road trip being at Tennessee, man, I would really prefer that was Mississippi State than Tennessee, just to get my first road environment like that for a lot of these guys in a place where we'll probably roll. So it is going to be tough to have Tennessee and then Alabama. There's a bye between them, but back-to-back to start SEC plays for an inexperienced team. I won't be shocked if they lose that Tennessee game because of it. Who knows? I think that's in play here, but I still think that as the year goes on and these guys get used to playing every single week, that's when the talent starts to shine through because they are still going to be better than most of the guys that are lining up across from them on every single snap. So I do think 10-2 is where they're going to end up. I think 11-1 is probably a little more likely than 9-3, but I think that both are very likely. And I also think 8-4. Sorry, Georgia fans, but 8-4 is far more in play than I think you're used to and have been used to probably since the Mark Richt era.
Who's the toughest quarterback they face on the road?
Jackson Arnold.
Well, all right. So
Lagway's neutral site. So
honestly, it might be the Haynes King neutral site. Oh,
that's right. That's in Atlanta. That's in the Big Body Benz now.
The Big Body Benz.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it for Georgia Tech.
I think
the seats are red.
All of the Georgia insiders are like, getting rid of Carson Beck is the best thing that's ever happened to this program. Like unanimously, they're all just like, listen to the podcast. Like,
but is
read between the lines. Now, look, I don't know if I fully buy into this, but
okay.
I do believe that the receivers in Athens this year, like we want to talk actual people on the field. Like, is Stockton as good as Beck? I don't really think so. But maybe it's not a huge downgrade. Maybe it is. I'm very positive the receivers who will actually be on the field for Georgia this year are way, way better. Who on Georgia's team last year in the second half would get legitimate snaps on this team? Like Dylan Bell was the 2. What is he now, the 4 or 5?
I see what you're saying.
Like Aaron Smith would go back to being what Aaron Smith's supposed to be, which is like a gadget 2-3 times a day or a game deep shot type guy, not 13 targets against Georgia Tech type guy. You get 2 probably pro, not first round type tight ends who were like 20. How old are these tight ends? Like Delp's got to be 20, 21, 22. Like those guys have been there forever.
Like, at least, I'd say. Yeah.
Veteran bodies, O-line get a little bit healthier. I don't think the backs are worse. Defense should be nasty.
I'd like to see him run the football. I was doing an autopsy on last year, and that was one thing that was missing from our classic world beater Georgia status.
What do you want Bobo to do?
I want him to run the dang ball. That's like that would be one thing that could check a box for me in terms of feeling like Georgia's course corrected a little bit. I mean, 3 years in a row, they go 42-0 against teams that are not coached by Nick Saban. Then all of a sudden last year, we've got multiple regular season losses, none of them to Nick Saban. One of them, as I was going back, they ran the ball right down Clemson's throat in the opener. But other than that, when they played like the best teams on their schedule, that rushing performance was ineffective. And so I think that's one area that I'll be looking at, especially at Tennessee, Alabama. They can they run the ball effectively? Because, I mean, football 101, that'll set up everything else, make life easier on Stockton.
Also, as far as the Georgia run game goes, Georgia fans, I won't pretend I'm not sad you took Josh McCray from me.
That's another part of that, like Georgia using the portal very specifically. Elo Mendoza, we need a pass rusher. Josh McCray, we want to beef up this running back room. So if our running back's fumbling every single time he gets the ball, we can tell him to sit his ass down and have somebody come in and get out there. So everybody's
8 games in the state of Georgia plus a neutral site versus Florida. It sets up perfectly for them. I am worried about Gunnar Stockton. I think it's a downgrade at the position, but you might have a massive upgrade in leadership. But
he's got a huge head on his shoulders.
Yeah, he does. But if there's a program I trust to kind of win around a quarterback, and not the comparison to Stetson Bennett, because Stetson Bennett played really good his second year, but we've seen him win a lot of games with average quarterback play. That's the type of season I would expect.
Yeah, I've got I'm over too. Not gonna lay this
Georgia pod rides again.
Georgia pod rides again. It'll be really interesting because what it means is the result of the Texas game and the Alabama game essentially determine who's got the tiebreakers to get us to Atlanta. So